everyone, thanks for joining me today for our teen craft program. I'm Stacy, the teen services librarian at the Naper Boulevard Library, and our craft for today are these melted crayon shaving artworks. We are just going to use some broken crayons and put them through our pencil shaver and use an iron to melt and create some really neat designs. So I'm going to show you how you can do both of these styles using just a few simple supplies. And once again, if you're able to sign up ahead of time for our craft kit, you have everything included except for the iron. But if not, you only need a few simple supplies to do this craft. So let's get started and I can show you what you'll need to do this one. All right, here are all the supplies we're going to need to complete this craft for today. You're gonna need a clean workspace, and since I'm working on this paper, I've put down some parchment paper underneath so that I don't get crayon all over my nice white paper. But just make sure you have a safe place to do some ironing and some mess making with our crayons. So what you're going to need is a canvas board of some sort. You can also use the stretch canvas that you might find at the craft stores. I really like these because they're easy to hang and really simple to use. And I have tons of these laying around from different art programs that we've had here. So you're going to need something like that. Size doesn't matter, but for this craft, our craft kit contains a 6x6 square. And then you're going to need some crayons. Now, you might have some broken crayons laying around, you might have some new crayons laying around. These are actually ones that we've used in a variety of crayon melting programs throughout the years, so they are getting their final run for our craft program here today. So I have a variety of colors, and then a pencil sharpener or crayon sharpener. You could say I've used this one for our sample, but just something simple like that. I have a little paper cup to put some of the shavings in later for a different technique, which I'll show you how to do. And then a pair of scissors, if you would like, for this step, this is vinyl adhesive stickers that we use in like cameo cutters and stuff like that. And this can be great to cut out a design and place on here. And that's how we get this really neat negative space that I have going on here. Once again, this is optional. You don't have to create a sticker template. You can just use a design with your colors, but just something that I'm going to show you how to do if you would like to. And then we have some wax paper, or parchment paper would work as well. The wax paper that we're going to cover our canvas when we are ready to get to our melting. And speaking of melting, you are going to need an iron of some sort. Please make sure that you have permission to use the iron and that you do not put the iron directly on our crayon shavings, but we will get into that. So I'm going to set this aside for now and let it heat up. And we are going to get started with our crafting. So I'm going to start by cleaning off the stuff that we're not going to need right now. So I'm going to put most of these things to the side. And our first step is to take our crayons here. And like I said, we have a whole bunch of different broken crayons and sort of well-loved, well-used crayons. To start with, we are going to need to take off the wrapping paper on all of these. So this is a very tedious task, but we do not want the paper in our melting bits because paper and heat are not a good option, as you may be aware. So go ahead and carefully, or not so carefully, peel off the paper off of all of your crayons that you would like to use. And I am going to edit this so that you all don't have to watch me tediously peel crayon wrappers for like, let's see, I'm gonna say this probably gonna take me 15 minutes. I will report back after we finish the unpeeling. Okay. I have finally finished peeling all of the crayons I'd like to use for this. And in fact, actually, I decided I'm going to use a few less crayons than I peeled, but I have them in case I need. And I have my lovely little recycling paper stash over here. So I'm gonna clean this up, put this over here, and get all this paper out of the way. And there we go. So we have all of our crayons peeled so that we can get ready to sharpen them. And this is a good time to decide which colors you want to use. and maybe think about the design, because before we get to the shaving and peeling part of this, we're going to prep our canvas. So like I said, I included in the craft kits some pieces of this vinyl sticky. And what you can do is you can cut out any sort of shape that you want. If you have a silhouette or a Cricut cutter, you can throw that through your cutting mechanism and come up with a bunch of cool patterns. So I'm going to use some stencils that I cut earlier today. And I just have a heart and a few stars. And if you don't, like I said, if you don't want to use the stencils, you don't have to. This is just an option. So you're gonna peel off the sticky bit at the back and attach it on your canvas where you want it really well. And make sure all of the bits are nice and down. And let's just randomly kind of places. There we go. And my other samples, I cut out stuff, but I wanted to be able to have some stuff quickly to show everyone. So make sure that they're down, especially got lots of little points like this. So now that we've decided where our little stickers are, we are going to get started with some sharpening of our crayons. So I included a little cup in your craft kits because if you'd like, you can use this to catch your shavings and one at a time pour your colors out, or you can use it to catch all of your shavings and mix it up and put it all over. And that's kind of what I did in these two samples here. I just kind of poured all of the crayon shavings in this cup and sprinkled it around. You can see I used a lot of green. So I'm actually gonna take out one of these darker greens so that I get one less dark for this one. I wanna show you guys, everyone sort of a more colorful, less green sample, but they still turned out cool. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your sharpener, and I am going to just stick my crayon in the sharpener here and start sharpening, and you can see I'm gonna start getting my shavings. There we go. And like I said, I'm going to kind of, as they start, they stick everywhere. But you can also do that, which is a lot smarter way, but you can't see it on the camera. And that gets all of our shavings in our cup. And you're going to do this for all the colors that you want to use. And like I said, you can do them one at a time. You can mix them all in this cup at once and just dump them all on your canvas, however you would like to do it. So let's say that that's good. So I got some pretty large shavings, and you can always break them up with your finger like that. And you see now I have, let's see if you can see this here. Now I have some smaller ones. And like you said, either you can collect all of them ahead of time and then pour everything, or you can do one at a time. So I'm just going to do this one at a time to show you. I'm just going to kind of randomly sprinkle them around my canvas. So we're going to do that for all of our colors. So as you're going, you can decide you want more colors. Remember, anything that is on the little stickers is not going to show, so feel free to sort of maybe kind of go like that. So I'm going to just do a bunch of shavings and pour them and be right back. Okay, so now you can see that I have lots of shavings in here. So I'm just going to kind of break them up a little bit and mix them up so they're not so big. And see, I have my lots of extra shavings here, so we can kind of this is a messy one, but this one's fun. So I'm just gonna sprinkle them around, and you can also like take them out of the cup and do that. Just gonna want to kind of cover most of your canvas. like so. And I'm actually gonna mix it up because I don't want too much green in one spot, because that's what I did last time. So, this is why we put the paper down, gang. Why you want to keep your workspace clean. Okay, let's clean off some of that, because that's not gonna, it'll just come off with our sticker when we go ahead and melt it. There we go. So, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to take the rest of my crayon pieces, maybe try and get some of this off my hands. Okay, so now we are ready for the melting part. So what you're going to do is get your iron and you're going to turn it to the lowest setting, which in my case is just one right here. You might have something that says minimum here, which is what I had it on just to heat it. That's not going to be hot enough, so you want just like minimum setting. You want to make sure that it's going to get warm, but it's not going to melt it too quickly, because when it does, this happens, which is okay. It's a cool way to do it, but I want to show you how to kind of ease into the melt. So we're going to set that over here while that's heating, and we're going to take our wax paper, and this is going to protect both our iron and ourselves, but also mostly our iron, because you definitely don't want these crayons getting stuck to the iron. It will ruin everything that you ever iron, and the parental figure in your life will be really, really mad at you. So don't do that. So we're going to have our wax paper or parchment paper, either works fine. And I'm going to show you a few different ways to do the melting technique. One, we're going to leave it on for a longer time, and one we're kind of going to sort of put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off to see what we can get. So once your iron is warm, and the way I kind of always, I can feel the heat coming off of it, so we're going to let it heat up just a little bit more. And once it is ready to go, we're going to iron our canvas. Alrighty, our iron is warm and ready to go, so I'm going to show you, like I said, two techniques. So one, I'm going to put it on this side, just like I was ironing a shirt or a pair of pants or something, and you're going to see, I'm going to put it on there and lift it up, and right away, look at, you can see how it melted. Now we're trying to get it to melt and stick to the canvas and not to our wax paper. This is all trial and error, and if it comes off on your wax paper instead, that's okay. You can see most of it's on the canvas, so we're good. So that's one, you can kind of, the more you keep it on there, the more it's going to melt together. Another way you can do it is sort of hover it over the top of the canvas just slightly to sort of do a more gentle melt. So, and this one, sometimes the shavings don't stick as easily, so I kind of like to use the tip of my iron here. Maybe do a quick on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. But once you think you kind of like how it looks, set the iron aside and gently lift up to see what we got here. Oh. This is where I say voila. But you can see we only have a little bit stick to our wax paper, so that's pretty neat. And you can see our wax has melted onto our canvas, like so. And there are still some little loose bits that didn't get completely covered. So you can always put it back on if you decide you want to melt something a little bit more. Just do it really quick, like that. There you go. And we're gonna let this cool off just a slight bit before we peel off the stickers. It shouldn't take too long because we didn't use very high heat. We just did a initial melt on it. So we're gonna let it cool for just a few minutes before we get to our peeling. Okay, so this has been sitting for a few minutes here. Clean up. This is a messy one. So this has been cooling for just a few minutes, and we're gonna go ahead and peel off our stickers to see what it looks like with the negative space. So I'm gonna find just a corner of my sticker, and I'm gonna kind of gently pull it up around the corners, like so. And there you go. Since I didn't do a lot up there, I still have a lot of cool negative space. But we'll do this for each of ours here, like so. You can see bigger space shapes tend to work better. And if you've lost your sticker under there, that's okay. So, and there we go. You can see how we got the cool colors here. It's a lot more rainbow effect. But once again, if you didn't want to use the stickers, you can not add them before you melt. Let's put those over there here. So, but that looks pretty neat. You know what? I think, let's try something. Here, I'm gonna take some of my shavings like that. Let's see what happens if we give it a little bit of a melt, shall we? Let's take a look. Yeah. So now you can see what happens if you put a lot more heat on it and melt it even more. So you saw what it looked like with that negative space. And now you can see what it looks like if you just kind of go with your instincts and you don't need all the the stickers. But that looks kind of neat. I kind of like how that looks all splattery over there. But this is just a really fun craft you can do. Everything you do is going to turn out unique. You cannot plan for this to turn out how you want. That's just the way that the melt's gonna happen. But I think it's a lot of fun, and it's a really cool way to use some leftover crayon bits you might have laying around, especially if you have younger siblings, and you know, good way to recycle some materials. And we like to use all of the materials we have here and find super cool fun crafts to do with them. So I hope you'll give this a try and have fun creating some techniques. Once you've done this, you can even decorate all of these spaces with Sharpie or paint and kind of create even more unique works of art. So thank you all for joining me for our craft today, and I look forward to teaching everyone another craft very soon. So thanks for joining me. Bye everyone.